One of the things we do is grow happy horses. How do we do this? Here's a few simple tips. For grass to be productive, we need to be looking down and all you should see is green. And looking at this environment from this perspective at the moment, you think, yep, most of it's green, that's not too bad, not seeing any bare patches of soil. But then when you start fertiling about inside it, moving the soil out of the way, you can see all of this dead thatch that needs dragging out because that's impeding nutrient flow to the plant, cutting out air and water. So when you finish dragging all this out, that's when the plant starts growing. Because at the moment, the sward is running on empty. There's not enough nutrient level and water supply in the upper layers of soil and in the grass. Therefore, the feed value to the horses is negligible. So even though it might look good from up here, when you start looking down and interrogating the soil, it's just running on empty. Right guys, most important thing we've got to find out is what's happening in the soil, and to do that we need to dig a few holes. We need to be looking at the sand, silt and clay fraction that's in the soil, find out what minerals they are, because that'll indicate how well the soil's working or not. Now you'll notice that I'm having to put quite a lot of pressure on the spade to get it in the ground. That tells me straight away that the grass is going to struggle as well, because if I've got to struggle to kick this into the ground, how on earth is a poor little root going to get through? So it tells me straight away we've actually got a bit of a problem. And most of this is actually moss, there's not that much grass here. But I need to turn it over and have a look at what's happening in the soil. Right, so what we're looking at here, guys, is a reasonably dense layer of soil that's actually quite firm. And if it's quite difficult for me to break it, then it's even more difficult for the roots to get through. So accessing nutrients in the soil is going to be very difficult. What I would really like to ideally see is a dark layer of organic matter here. That there isn't because it hasn't been here long enough. And also the bits of grass that are here come out very easily. I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually quite a lot of thatch and dead grass in the top, which is helping to impede nutrient uptake, water and air going into the soil. You can break it off, but it comes off in chunks. The good thing is you can probably see here that the roots are reasonably white, but they're just starting to go a bit dark here, which means that they're struggling. They're just struggling to find nutrients because there isn't enough left in the soil for them. The other thing that's missing significantly in here is worm casts. There are no worm holes where they've been through the soil. Worms are the soil's cultivator. They basically break down organic matter into humus, which the roots can absorb. We can't see any of that. We've got quite a high silt content in the soil. It forms a ball, but it doesn't smear on the top, so there's not much clay. Clay is the driver for the soil. It holds all the nutrients. But all of that indicates how well the grass is going to grow above it, and more importantly, what species I need to put in to help grow happy horses. It's very crumbly. We've had a lot of rain. That's just going to disappear in seconds if we're not careful. Once you've sorted the soil out, you realise you haven't got a happy horse. We need to get the grass more productive and efficient. You need to speak to an agronomist, because basically what an agronomist is someone who takes soil science, find out what's happening in the soil, and gets that talk into crops. In this case, it's grass. And you can rely on an expert to provide you the answers you need.